Good afternoon and welcome to the TEVETA stand at this year's Zambia International Trade Fair. TEVETA is an authority under the Ministry of Technology and Science. We regulate, coordinate and monitor technical education and vocational training in the country. So by so doing, it means we set the standards that need to be complied with by the training institutions that are registered with us. So the way we do it is that we develop the curriculum that is used by each and every institution registered with us. Then we also do quality assurance, meaning we monitor and evaluate to ensure that the training is done in compliance with what is the set standards in the curriculum. And we also have got then a role to ensure that those that are passing through the system, they are assessed, meaning we develop assessment instruments or examinations, so to say, and we award them qualifications at the end of the day. Now, this responsibility also entails that we have to finance some of the training programs because they are priority skills areas. So we have got a fund that we run called the TEVETA Fund. So through the TEVETA Fund, we finance through the informal sector or SMEs who need their skills to be upskilled for them to remain productive and efficient in terms of how they do business, as well as employer-based training. So under employer-based training, the employees where technology has changed, production systems have changed, so their skills become a bit redundant, or they need to upskill in short for them to remain competitive. So TEVETA finances that kind of area as well to ensure that those that contribute to the skills towards this fund, they've got the appropriate skills for them to apply themselves. Now, under our assessment system, we also have got something we call recognition of prior learning. There are people who would have acquired skills, maybe as welders, as carpenters, as mechanics, at their garage, at a family business, or their own enterprise that they run. But these skills have not formally been certified. So we have got an assessment called the recognition of prior learning for individuals who would have acquired skills, maybe as mechanics, welders, carpenters, through their maybe day-to-day activities, or maybe they work at their own garage, or they work at a family business. So they're exposed to experts who assess if they possess appropriate competencies. If those competencies meet the standards that we would have set, then they are awarded competence certificates. And this enables them to participate in the economy with recognized qualifications. So basically, when you look at this year's theme with us, we are looking at how do we promote value addition for sustainable growth. We promote it through setting the standards, by ensuring that the training that happens within those standards, by ensuring that those who pass through the system, we assess them based on the standards, and then we award the qualifications that enable them to participate in the economy. So by so doing, we are developing people with hands-on and entrepreneurial skills who are able to convert raw materials or transform them into products and services that they will be able to sell on a daily basis and then earn a living in the long term.
My name is Akim Kalkeka. I'm a specialist at TEVETA for materials development, and I'm under the development division where we look at the development of the curriculum, training systems, as well as the development of training materials. So in terms of development of the curricula, we do it in consultation with the stakeholders, because TEVETA is all about skills, and the skills that we develop need to respond to the needs of the industry. So the industry is the key in our development of the curricula, and their input is very much required, as they have to dictate what they want to be performed in the industry, and then that information we transfer it into learning content, which is packaged into a curriculum, and then that curriculum is ready for implementation in training institutions. Once the curriculum has been done, we also develop the training materials, which are the support resources for the effective implementation of the syllabus, or rather the curriculum. And once we have this package of the curriculum and the training materials, then these materials are ready for implementation in the registered training institutions. And there are different ways in which training can take place. We have different systems, which is the formal training, which is the convention, the one that we all know as full-time. And then another mode of training that we have in TEVETA, we have distance learning, where it's more on the self-study aspect, where students can register, and then from there place of comfort. They can be studying with those resources that we provided, the training materials. And then from time to time, they meet for residential sessions where they come and get the assessment and then do all those other required assessments, such as the computer assessment, assignments, the practicals, and then they do the short, comprehensive kind of training, so that they just bring them to the same speed in terms of the content. And apart from the distance, which we sometimes call as the ODFL or Open Distance Flexible Learning, we also have another form of training, which is under our division, which is online training. This one has actually been so helpful, especially the advent of COVID. As you all may be aware, during COVID times, there was no physical interaction, so the full-time conventional system of training was somehow disturbed. Our learners couldn't go to school to learn, so we had another system which we are following on, which is the online training, where using the technologies and these other devices, that as long as they give them access to internet, students were able to continue learning. And in these all systems of training, the resources that we develop, which is the curriculum and the training materials, are very important, because the curriculum, as I mentioned, dictates the learning content, the expected outcomes, performance indicators that a student is supposed to have at the end of training. And then the training materials, they help us now with the actual learning content, which we famously call in the school system as the notes, the actual notes, where a student is supposed to read and get all that kind of information.
My name is Mrs. Carol Siwale. I'm an inspector in TEVETA. I am coming from the Training Standards Department. This is the department which is responsible for registration of institutions, monitoring of registered institutions, accreditation of trainers, assessors, and examiners. So what in our department, in terms of registration, we do register institutions that would like to offer technical, vocational, entrepreneurship training programs. And through our registration process, we do assure the public that institutions that are registered meet all the parameters that are required for training, such as qualifications of trainers. Trainers must be qualified to train in those institutions. Then also training facilities, as well as tools and equipment, appropriate tools and equipment that are required for training. We also monitor institutions, those that are registered with us. At the moment, we currently have about 305 institutions registered with TEVETA. And each year we do at least one annual inspection and other inspections that may come about with these institutions, just to verify and check that the institutions are still meeting the minimum training standards as required. We also do accreditation of programs. This is where we try to see that an institution which is registered to offer certain programs but would like to add on other programs, it meets the requirements for them to offer these other programs. So we also do the accreditation of programs, accreditation of trainers, assessors, and examiners. This is a mandate also which is given to us through our Amendment Act, where trainers apply for accreditation, and we look at their qualifications, their experience in the fields of training, and we accredit them as trainers, instructors, assessors, as well as examiners. Then we just would like to invite the public to come through our stand so that they can get more information on how you can register an institution, also more information on the status of institutions perhaps that they would like to take their children to train from, or that they would like to undertake training themselves with, just to verify that these institutions are registered. Also to warn the public that we do have quite a number of institutions out there that may be training without registration. These are illegal institutions, and the public must look out look for a list. We publish a list of all registered institutions. So they must look out for that list so that they can verify that the institution that they would like to train from or take relatives, family to train from is a registered institution.
My name is Dunstan Insama. I'm manager in charge of trade testing and recognition of prior learning. What I do at TEVETA is I manage trade testing assessments, as well as from the division that I'm coming from, we also do the certification part. And then the part of recognition of prior learning is what I want to emphasize on, because it is a form of assessment where we assess skills from the informal sector, those colleagues of ours who acquired skills through informal means of learning, where this particular form of assessment focuses on the learning outcome rather than how you were trained or how you acquired that training. So basically what we do is we would register somebody who is maybe, for example, our colleagues who are practicing on the roadsides, where they practice plumbing and sheet metal, carpentry and joinery, metal fabrication, electrical, as well as all sorts of skills, including food production. We normally allow them to apply. Then once they apply, then we process their application. Then we look at the competence to which they are able to demonstrate that skill, and then we are able to certify them. So which means we also cater for those that may feel they are neglected, they didn't qualify through the normal school setup, but then we give them an opportunity to acquire a certificate through recognition of prior learning. So that's what we were here exhibiting. So we can still ask all showgoers to come through and be able to register so that they acquire a skill and be able to add value to their skill and be able to expand their opportunities in business, as well as acquire more opportunity to even set up own companies and perhaps gain experience, or rather get contracts which they can, I think, maximize their skill and as well as their opportunity.
My name is Helen Ndola. I'm the programs officer for TEVETA under the TEVETA Fund unit. This is the unit that's being used as a mechanism for financing of skills development in the country. Currently, we are sponsoring skills under two windows. That's informal sector training and the employer-based training. Under informal sector training, currently we are sponsoring about 7,600 students across the country at 87 TEVETA registered training institutions to a tune of about 23 million kwacha for informal sector training. The objective of sponsoring the informal sector is to ensure that the people that are working in the informal sector get skills that will enable them to be more productive in their enterprises, and so as to enable them contribute positively to economic growth in the country. Under employer-based training, at the moment we are looking to collaborate with 22 employers and 5 training institutions to sponsor roughly about 5,000 employees in these companies for employer-based training. These contracts will be worth about 24 million kwacha so far for this, just for 2022. We are talking about 177 contracts in total. The reason why we are collaborating with these training institutions and the training providers is because for any country to move forward, there needs to be skilled manpower. And the only way that there will be skilled manpower is offering of skills that are being offered in these institutions. So under employer-based training, we collaborate with employers that are contributing to the Skills Development Fund. Yes, in collaboration with the training providers who are registered with us. For the reason why, one of the objectives that have been identified is to ensure that we are offering training that's relevant to the industry in which these respective companies are operating in, so to ensure that they are also gaining competitive advantage over their competitors in those industries, and also ensuring that there's increased productivity in the said companies. Yes, so that is under employer-based training. So we are just calling upon all employers, especially the respective people that are involved in skills training, to come through to the TEVETA stand at the Zambia International Trade Fair to get more information information on how they can go about in accessing these funds, and also just get more knowledge on the eligibility criteria when it comes to access of these funds under employer-based training.
My name is Ndola Sakunda, coming from the IT department of TEVETA. As TEVETA IT, we offer a number of services to the general public. These services include, but not limited to, the following. Number one, we offer accreditation for institutions, for training institutions, so they can apply online. Number two, we offer accreditation for individuals, lecturers, who want to apply as a trainer, as an examiner, and also as an assessor. Number three, we also offer the following services to students, such as student enrollment, such as examination application, etc., etc. In addition, we offer verification of online certificates, so any candidates or graduates who did a TEVETA program can validate or can verify their certificates online. So you can find all these services on our website, that is www.teveta.org.zm. Depending on the service that you want to apply for, there's an interactive form that you have to fill in. So it's a very simple form. It has guidelines. It's very interactive, and it guides you step by step as you complete the form. After you complete the form, of course, there are payments attached to these services, so you can pay online. So TEVETA offers an online payment gateway that allows you to pay using your Visa card, using your MasterCard, or using mobile money. So if you have MTN, Airtel, or Zamtel, you can pay using either of the particular ISPs that you have.